Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have got such a treat for you. I'm just bubbling over, so excited about this call tonight. But let's just get started with my name's Nikki McCutchen. Welcome. We just know that whoever invited you to this call tonight really must care about you to want you to know about this technology and what it can do for your life and your health. And so it is just our treat for you to be here. The call will be about for 30 minutes. We may go a little bit over that just because I really want you all to get, your questions answered from Jacqueline. I'm going to read her bio here. But really what I need to let you know about her is that she is just one of my most favorite people. So intelligent, probably one of the most smartest women that I know. And it is just an absolute blessing to have her in my life and to know her. And so I am just super excited for you all to get to know her and just hear, from her and her knowledge and her wisdom. Okay, so of course I cannot, I can't pull up the bio. So let me do it from my phone here. So sorry. I was thinking I could do it from my computer, but I cannot. So I'm going to pull it up if my phone's going to work fast enough. All right, let's see here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. So Jacqueline is celebrating her 11th year as a functional integrative health coach. She was intrigued by the idea of health coaching and embarking on her journey. She pursued a certificate in personal nutrition from Shaw Academy, followed by the Berg Method Health Coach certification from Dr. Eric Berg. Hungry for more information to help others to get healthy, she looked for a school to give her uh, the know-how to implement this information in a way that would help others. Her dedication led her to earn a certification from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition Health Coaching School, where she has also completed the Institute of Integrative Nutrition Advanced Business Course program. This gave her a more complete education on the effects of diet and nutrition on the body. Later, Jacqueline had the opportunity to become a brain health coach through the Amen Clinics. If y'all don't know what Amen Clinics are, you need to look it up because it is like the top, the best brain health institute to learn from anywhere. Sorry, my little tidbit. Since then, she has completed a 2-year internship program with a local naturopathic doctor. Jacqueline's committed to her clients' well-being led her to become a supplement specialist. Most recently, Jacqueline has become an autonomic nervous system specialist. She uses a Menla scan to give you a look at how the ANS models the health and well-being of your body. And the other tidbit I want to throw in here is that the Menla scan, it did not clue into me until I was going back and listening to videos that our founder and CEO David Schmidt has done. But the Menla scan is what he also has used in a lot of the clinical research and studies that he's done for our patch technology. So the fact that we have someone, and especially if you're local here in Tulsa, to where you can go in and get this Menla scan done on your body with and without the patches, which is what you're going to see tonight, is just phenomenal. So I am super excited to have her come on and we're going to talk about all this. But first, I forgot to do the medical disclaimer. So let me go over that with you real quick. What we are sharing tonight is for informational and educational purposes only. All LifeWave products are not intended to treat, cure, diagnose any type of disease. Please check with your physician first for any kind of healthcare, as well as if you're pregnant or nursing. So with that, I'm going to bring Jacqueline on. And the first thing I want her just to kind of share with you is her first experience, her personal experience with the patches and why she decided to try the patches. So Jacqueline, if you'll start with that.
Oh, sure. That's great. My first experience was in a naturopathic clinic setting when I was working there as an internship, and the doctor recommended them for some people, but it didn't last long. And it seemed like after a few months, then they quit carrying them. And then I was visiting Nikki at her house, and I had hurt my shoulder. I had torn the labrum and the rotator cuff on my right shoulder. And so I was visiting her and she was like, "Oh, you're struggling so much. Let me patch you up." And so she patched me up with several different patches. And I went home with a lot less pain than I went in there with. And I think I wore them for a week, maybe 2 weeks, but somewhere between a week and a week and a half. And the inflammation just went down. It allowed my shoulder to heal. But this is not even, is it a year yet? It's not even a year yet, is it,
No.
Nikki?
Uh-uh.
Uh, and I have complete full range motion of my shoulder, complete strength in my shoulder. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. That it's just like it's never been hurt. And so it's just been really, really great for me. Yeah, I really
Yes,
thank
that's
Nikki for that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It was so exciting. And I what we kind of learned in talking to you in that process was that it was the importance of the combination of the patches, and
Right.
understanding how to utilize them together to really help people to have better results. And that was the difference in what I did with you versus for whatever reason you were doing in the office originally. So
Right. Yeah. Well, they would
yeah.
just give them the patches and say, put it on the back of your neck here. And they didn't ever do any teaching on how to place the patches or what they can expect from the patches, or maybe you might need 2 patches, or, there was never any talk about how to work with the patches. So I've been very blessed to be able to work with Nikki and learn a little bit more about how to place the patches. So it was very
That's
exciting when I got the Menla scan and I was doing some scanning on myself and taking supplements and then scanning myself again to see what's the effect. And when I was talking to Nikki about this, she said, "Well, I do the patches." I was like, "Oh, great idea." So we got together and did some scanning with and without patches, and the outcome has been really great. I think Nikki's going to tell you about that.
Yes. So first, I want you to share with them a little bit. So explain the Menla scan and what the purpose is and why you decided to use it in your practice.
Well, I looked at a lot of different scans. There's so many out there. You've got the AO scan, you've got Healy's, you've got the just the different kinds. So I looked at Menla, and it was one that I wasn't going to feel at some point that I would have to tell my client, "Oh, you need to buy one of these so you can do the treatments, or you need to buy this so you can have an everyday use of it." This was more like an informational. So the Minla scan is an autonomic nervous system scan, and it scans the whole body, and it gives you 128 points on the body and shows you if there's inflammation or stress in that part of the body. And that is so important because a lot of times people come in, they just don't feel good. I don't know. I just haven't felt myself. And it would take me 2 or 3 visits doing assessments and asking questions to really figure out, oh, that's where it's coming from, because, it's so important to go after that root cause. And so I couldn't get them to open up sometimes for several visits. So now I don't even have to get them to open up. They come in, the first thing I do is I scan them. And it's just amazing because as soon as I start going through the scan and I can see immediately, I could see what the scan was trying to tell me. And that was exciting to me because I wasn't sure if my education was up there at the point where I could just look at the information, but I would go step by step through the scan telling them, and I'd say, "Oh, you've got a circulation issue on your left arm. Oh my goodness, you've got neurotransmitters are out of whack. Your electrolytes are out of balance. It just tells so many things. You're leptin resistant or you're insulin resistant." And so I could tell them, "You don't get full, do you?" "Well, no, how can you tell that?" "Well, you're leptin resistant. So it helped me to be able to identify where things are coming from. And, in the last few weeks, I've actually had several people who have vaccine injury. They come in and their heart is just so inflamed. They're very inflamed. And so at first I wasn't quite sure why. We couldn't figure. I said, I think you've got a toxin or something." So we started going through trying to figure out if they could have gotten into a toxin. And there's been several that they haven't gotten into any toxins. They haven't even been to the lake. They haven't been anywhere that they could get into a new toxin or something. And we couldn't figure out really what's going on. And then I saw their neurotransmitters. I saw their dopamine is low. And I know that those shots knock your dopamine out. So then I started asking, "Have you had the shots?" And yes, is usually the answer. When their heart is inflamed, the dopamine is low, the neurotransmitters are out, and there's so many different signs that you can see. And so now I'm treating them differently. Now I know they're going to have a spike protein cleanse, and they're going to have to be doing things to really get their body's immune system back in line, because it's just trashed once they get those shots, and getting the inflammation out of the heart and out of the arteries, and making sure they don't have any calcium deposits in their arteries at the same time, double checking to make sure that that's probably what it is. But I'm almost positive I've seen several of the myocarditis come through my office in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. It's just an amazing tool for you to add. So, and also just to let you all know, and I'll type it in the chat, but so she does work with people virtually. So I don't know if you want to explain that just a little bit as well, Jacqueline, but just it's barrettwellness.com. I'm going to put that in there. But so she can work with you live if you're here in Tulsa, or if you're the surrounding areas. She can do the Menla scan and, whole wellness coaching. But if you want to just share with them real quick, Jacqueline, about just what you do with virtual patients.
Yeah, with virtual patients, I can't scan them, but I've got enough experience to be able to identify a lot of things just by asking certain questions and finding out what's going on with them. And so I have a pretty good track record of being able to figure out that root cause, at least within a few sessions. So yeah, if you have a problem with insulin, or you have a problem with autoimmunity, I'm really strong in the autoimmunity, getting the autoimmunity turned off, getting osteoporosis turned around, because there's a lot of really good evidence that that is a vitamin D deficiency, and you need K2 with the vitamin D in order to turn the calcium back into the teeth and bones. And you just teach them about more than just calcium in the arteries, and not taking calcium as a supplement, because that's just a heart attack in a bottle. So we want to make sure that when we give people advice to turn their health around, get their train back on the track, that we're helping them to improve their health all the way around. And I really think vitamin D, that's my star vitamin. I call it the diamond of vitamins, because it's just that important. Vitamin D is responsible for over 3,000 immune functions. It activates over 266 genes. It activates your sleep hormone, and it opens the receptors on your cells. And so getting it at the proper level is actually called hypercalcemia. And you need it between 80 and 100 in order to have optimal health. But doctors will tell you that that is a toxic level of vitamin D, but it's really not. It's the action of vitamin D, removing calcium from soft tissues, breaking down bone spurs and things of that nature. And then you pair it with K2 or nattokinase. If a person can't take K2 for blood thinners or whatever, you can give them nattokinase. And that's going to activate those calcium proteins and send it to teeth and bone. And that is what turns it around. If a person is lacking calcium, their calcium score comes back negative, then maybe you could give them a couple 100 milligrams of an algae calcium, which can be absorbed really properly, but you need to make sure it's the right type, and probably not just by itself. It's got to have other minerals with it besides just calcium. I'd rather do a humic fulvic mineral that will get in and out of the cells and feed the cells really good, than to do a calcium magnesium type of mineral with them.
Yeah. Awesome. Great information. So y'all can see what a wealth of knowledge she is. Absolutely amazing. So one little thing, I'm just going to throw in this little tidbit, because today I was like so excited for this person. I had a gal call me. She did a bunch of blood work and stuff with her doctor, and she was worried. She was having issues with her bone density, and so she had been utilizing X39, X49, which is more specific to bone density. We're not really going to go over that one necessarily tonight, but I did want to be able to let you know about this. So she was only on using the X49 for 1 month. She had her blood work done today, and it came back that she no longer has any issues with her bone density. Her bone density is completely normal. I was like jumping up and down. I would have never told someone in 1 month that the X49 could support your body in such a way that your bone density would change that quick. So I was just blown out of the water. So anyway, just had to throw that one in there for you real quick. Okay, so Pastor Ed, if you will start the slide. So I'm going to have Jacqueline take us through. So what I did with her was I did back in June, I wear all the patches. So when I went into her office, obviously I was not wearing the Alavita and the Silent Night, but I was wearing all of the rest of the patches. And then in July, then I didn't wear any patches in, and then we tested some patches. So I want her to go over this heart rate variability and what you're seeing here, and have her talk us through this.
So Nikki's heart rate is a little off. On the first one, her heart rate was it was very steady. It's a little bit fast, but it's very steady. But when she came in with no patches, it was skipping beats and just kind of all over the place a little bit. You can see that on that bottom heart rate variable. And so we were just thrilled to see that when she started adding the patches back, it started to get back to a normal sinus rhythm, which was really cool.
So she was, asking me like, has anybody ever talked to you about your heart rate? Like this is, and no, like any of my other testing, I mean, nobody's ever noticed this or seen this. So it was super interesting. And then, oh, sorry,
yeah, we
went
weren't
too far.
expecting it. That was one of the things that we were like, oh, look at your heart rate here, So that
Exactly.
was kind of
Yeah.
exciting.
Because I don't feel anything. I mean, my heart feels very healthy and strong, and I exercise. And so I've never even noticed any of these kinds of things. And so what we did was I just had just a regular sleeve with one of each of these patches in there. So I just had one X39 in the patch or in the sleeve, and I just stuck it in my back pocket. So I didn't stick it anywhere specific on the body. I just stuck it in my back pocket. We just waited just a couple of minutes, and then we reran the scan. So the first scan we ran was with X39. The second scan we ran with just Eon. And then the third scan we ran with X39 and Eon. And again, this was seconds worth each time of what we did. So Jacqueline, take us through this.
Yeah, so with just the X39, she's skipping some beats and she's a little bit fast with her heartbeat, with her heart rate variable. And then with the Aeon, it's like the same thing, it's not exactly really solid there, but when you put both of them together, she's got a really good heart rate that is, very close to what it should be. I mean, the sinus rhythm is just right on and perfect timing. So that was kind of exciting to see.
Yeah. And so this to me is such an amazing example of how, when we talk to people about the fact of when there's somebody who doesn't necessarily notice anything right away, this is key. I notice none of this. Okay. I work out hard. I do, lots of, I play sports with my kids. I mean, was no notification whatsoever to me that I had any kind of issue with my heart rate variability, and the patches then being able to what they're working on and what is happening here, and all of the other things that we're getting ready to go through that just show you on my scans. Again, these are not anything that I would have had any idea was needing support in my body. And so to have test results to show you what's actually going on is so huge with the patches, especially if you feel like they're not doing anything for you. So let's go on to this next one, and I'll have you explain what's happening here.
Okay, so her prefrontal cortex is kind of inflamed, and sorry, it's been a long day. And her amygdala is lit up a little bit, and oh, my brain went blank.
That's right.
The
You're good.
yeah, her limbic system is lit up too. So with the yellow, that's mostly, and it's got some vasodilation going on there. I mean, vasoconstriction. And with the orange, it's more like a vasodilation. So she's not getting enough blood to some parts of the brain, but she's getting too much in other parts of the brain. So it's just kind of out of balance, which is stressing her out. This one is saying she's got a stressed brain right here.
So that's the top one. And then the bottom one is when I was wearing the X39 and the Eon together. And again, like this
Right.
is what's so jaw-dropping to me. We're talking within seconds what these
Yes.
patches were doing to my brain.
We didn't even wait 10, 15 minutes. She put the patches in, we hooked her up, we got her scanned. And the difference was just like, oh wow, that was so quick, you know, that the stress level of the frontal lobe is less, and of the I can't believe my brain is so gone out on me this evening. So her prefrontal cortex, which is your thinking manager, which is your executive management of your brain, I don't know, understand how she can make all the decisions that she makes all day long and not have that be stressed. And then her limbic system, her right and left, what is that called, Nikki?
Cortex.
Frontal, the no, not the cortex. Anyway, they're very cleared up completely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at
Just
first,
absolutely
yeah,
amazing.
so her limbic system is all cleared up, whereas her prefrontal cortex is still stressed. Sorry, I did a mini clinic today for the Corps of Engineers, and I was there from like 7:30 in the morning, and I have not quit yet. So
No, yes. Yes, you've been maxing out your limbic system today.
yes, my prefrontal cortex says take a break.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay. And this one is just like the craziest thing. And this is one of those to where, so what you're seeing is that 89% was in June. And then these were all the
That
different
was with all
when
your
I did
patch.
the, yeah, with the patches. So the 95% was when I didn't have any patches on. 96% was just X39. 97% was Just Eon. And then the 98% was with X39 and Eon. And the interesting thing about this it is going to make Jacqueline and I dig farther into the science of the patches and how they work, because we're like, oh my goodness, like what could it be that it would change my body composition? So
Right.
talk to us about this, Jacqueline.
Yeah, I was going through and trying to see what the differences were in the different parts of the body and stuff with the scan, and I saw the body composition had changed, and I was like, how is the body composition changing? You know, is it repairing her cells at such a high rate and so quickly that it could actually change the composition of her body? You know, because I really don't know the science about it. Nikki's teaching me about the patches still, but you know, the only thing I can think of is that she's getting such a high rate of cellular repair that it's changed her composition of her body, because what is your body composition? It's your muscle, it's your fatty tissue, it's your connective tissue, it's the water in your body, you know, and the Menla scan breaks it down for you really well. So I haven't been able to dig into that yet and see what actually changed, because it tells you extracellular water, it tells you intracellular water, it tells you you know, if your electrolytes are off. Did it repair her electrolytes without taking anything? You know, that to me just is phenomenal, because I see so many people that cannot keep their electrolytes balanced. They with the prepackaged foods and all the sodium that's in the foods, it just knocks the potassium out. And then the phosphorus goes out, and they end up having all these issues just from having electrolyte issues. But this one, when I told her today, did you realize the body composition changed? That was probably the most phenomenal to me, because you expect other things to change, but you don't expect the body composition to change.
Right. Yeah, and so the fact that, you know, the thought process, like I said, we're going to have to dive more into the science to really see, but the thinking of potentially my body is just creating so many more cells to do repair that it would actually change the composition, which I don't know about you girls, but I want whatever good body composition I can get going on. So
That's
this
right.
let's go. So that makes me very excited.
There's so much science now that says we don't have to grow old. Actually, we can turn back the aging process. So that's very exciting, because that looks
Yes,
like something that
absolutely.
would help do that.
Absolutely, yes, and that is what David has designed this technology around, and so it is so cool that I mean, it's just so cool because it makes me think of him in the, in the lab, and he's doing all these, these, scans, and he's working with this, and he's seeing all this live, and so, we're just coming on and we're saying, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool," but now, like, we're getting a little glimpse, like a tiny little glimpse into his world and what he does. I mean, I just think it's so much fun. So, okay, so this first top one, this is with no patches on, and then this bottom one is with X39 and Eon. So tell us, Jacqueline, what you see in this one.
Well, I see that the liver and gallbladder, your stomach and duodenum, the pancreas, and your large intestines and your bladder, they all have too much blood going to them. That tells me you might have like a little bit of inflammation in there, but it's from over circulation. And so you probably have like some underlying issue that your body's trying to heal. Okay, but then your area around your uterus, which is right above your bladder, it has a constriction of blood. Okay, it's not getting enough blood to it. But you put the patches on, and it immediately decreased the blood flow that was going to the liver, gallbladder, stomach, and duodenum. It increased the blood flow to the bladder, but it corrected the large intestine completely in just that few minutes. So I'm like, you wear those patches for a while, you'll probably be able to get that blood balanced back the way it should be. And hopefully it's an issue that's just a slight food poisoning or something that you're not even aware of. Because we get food poisoning all the time. That's why we have to keep our stomach acid strong, because that's what's going to kill foodborne illnesses. And sometimes a little something will get through, and sometimes you'll know it, and sometimes you won't. Most of the time your body will kill it out for you, and you won't even know it. You might get a little tired or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was amazing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and again, this is just another perfect example of I don't really notice any gut issues or feel like I have any gut issues, but the fact of that you see that there's multiple organs that are being affected that are needing some support. And for whatever reason, my body then decided that my large intestine was the first thing, like it needed to go there the most. It helped with all the areas, but it needed to go there first. And so, like what Jacqueline's talking about is that it will just continue to move to different, areas, and it's all my body deciding the way God created us, the way He designed
Mhm.
us, so
Exactly.
that our body will decide to heal and regenerate and rejuvenate itself because that is what He has designed us to do. And so again, if you have someone who doesn't feel like they're seeing any results with these patches, just know this is proof that there is stuff going on, even though you may not feel things. So,
Right.
um, yeah, so this one is my thyroid. So the little yellow butterfly. So that was with no patches. And then the bottom one is with the X39 and the Eon. So talk to us about this here, Jacqueline.
Yeah, this was another surprise because, I had seen that your thyroid was a little lit up and said you probably should get it checked. It looks like it's got a little hypoxia. And then after you put the patches on, that last set of patches, that when it was both the X39 and the Eon, um, it was just completely gone. And, that's just something that we found by accident too. I was like, look at your thyroid, it's not lit up anymore. you know
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
thyroid is so important. It's your information hub, your communication hub for your hormones. And so we really want it to be strong and working well, and it works in conjunction with the liver. A lot of the functions that people call thyroid are actually liver functions. And so that's just a real important thing to have working properly. And I was just amazed that we were able to get that inflammation out of that thyroid so quickly.
Yes, absolutely. So think about this for just a second, okay? I've got on X39 and Eon, no patches to X39 and Eon. So just two of our patches, okay? And what all in my body did those two things go to work on? My brain, my thyroid, multiple organs, completely clearing my large intestine of any inflammation, my heart rate variability. So we've got 4 different areas, not including all the organs that were, listed that it was benefiting, even if it didn't completely clear out the inflammation. So it's got go 2 patch elevating 2 peptides in the body, GHKCU copper peptide and the peptide that the EON activates, which is in the liver, elevating those 2, supporting those 2 peptides, all these different things that can start to happen in your body that you have no idea you are being supported because of a tiny, I need to, tiny little patch, tiny little Band-Aid looking sticker that's reflective, that reflects back your own body's infrared light at a certain frequency to elevate copper peptide in your body, then this is what starts to happen. This is absolutely amazing and incredible. So, Pastor Ed, if you want to take us off now, you can. That would be great. So I am just going to tell you, I guess we're already at our 30 minutes, but I definitely want to give y'all a chance to ask Jacqueline questions. I'm just going to give you a real quick rundown of the X39, just so you have an idea. Come back on Monday at 6 o'clock Central. So somebody else think through all the, whatever time zone you're in, when you need to come back, but we'll post it on WhatsApp as well. But Vicki is going to be doing the X39 review. So she will take a deeper dive into the X39 product that activates GHKCU copper peptide. Our patches are completely non-transdermal. So that's the other thing. Remember with Jacqueline, I was putting those in my back pocket. Not on my skin anywhere, was not even touching my skin. I had my underwear, my pants, my pocket piece, all, the sleeve that it was in, all in between the patch and my body, okay, my skin. So that's how you know that it is a reflective product. It is patch technology. It is an infrared light phototherapy product, okay, that is reflecting back specific light wave frequency to elevate and activate different peptides in your body. So just quick rundown of what GHK does in your body. It helps with stem cells. It helps with the cardiovascular system, wound healing, collagen, and the immune system. So I'm not going to go into it all. Vicki will do that on Monday, but think of all of those systems and every single thing that those systems would help in your body is what GHKCU is activating, which is why it is able to have multiple organs in my body have changed and be supported. Our recommendation is you wear it 1 month for every decade you are old. So if you're 50, that would be 5 months of wearing it to really see what it's going to do for you. The other thing is that also gives you enough time to go back into your doctor to have some test results run. Go in, well, with Jacqueline, we can do it within minutes and have something run
Right.
to test to see what it's going to do with you, as well as your supplements with Jacqueline. She can test those on the Menlo scan too. Hydration is key. In order for your cells to be able to talk to each other and communicate, which Jacqueline mentioned, the hydration component as well, with minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium. Your cells have to be able to talk to each other for any natural body process to work properly. So that is another huge key for the patch technology. So that's just going over it really quickly. Oh, Pastor Ed, you're going to give me a big word. Let me see if I can say it, which I don't know that if I've ever known this, but I've wondered. So the EON, which we've talked about, and the peptide in the liver that it activates is phenylacetylglutamine. Did I say
Fetal acetyl glutamine.
fetal acetylglutamine? Thank you, Jacqueline. Yay, I learned a new technical word. That's awesome. So that's the amino acid that is elevated in your liver with the EON product. So I just want to open it up now. Type your questions in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself. Come on and ask Jacqueline your question, and she will be happy to try to give you an answer. Again, we don't treat, cure, diagnose any kind of disease, but if you can talk about symptoms, we can address some questions based on symptoms. So, anybody?
Well, I can, how about if I give some tips? So I can give some tips for people who are having blood sugar issues. most blood sugar issues are caused actually from vitamin D resistance or low vitamin D levels. And there's a doctor in Brazil who has done decades of research on this. His name is Dr. Coimbra, in case anybody wants to look up his research. But his research shows that when your vitamin D gets too low, your body becomes vitamin D resistant, and it acts just like the insulin resistance. The problem is vitamin D is the hormone that opens your receptors. So you've got to get it back up to a working level. So you take high doses of vitamin D. In his protocols, they use anywhere from 30,000 to 300,000 units a day until they can get the receptors opening up. And so for different autoimmune disorders, it's different amounts because that vitamin D resistance is also the main key that causes a lot of autoimmunity. So if you have an autoimmune disorder, I recommend that you get your vitamin D level checked. You want it close between 80 and 100, like I said earlier, for optimal health. And so you'll want to pick a good amount that will get you up there fairly quickly, and just get your vitamin D level checked, 3-4 times a year. Don't do it just once a year. It's just not enough. With the seasons changing, the amount of D that you can get outside is going to be different. And depending on where you're at on the globe, there's some places you just can't get enough vitamin D. I mean, even here in Oklahoma, you can't get enough vitamin D from going outside. You'd have to be outside, half naked for 4 to 5 hours in order for the sun to be able to convert enough cholesterol into vitamin D for you. And you have to make sure your kidneys were working really good and your circulatory system in order for it to be able to be absorbed properly. So it's real important to keep your vitamin D levels checked for those kind of things.
So Diane is asking, what vitamin D do you recommend?
Well, there are so many different kinds of vitamin Ds. It's going to depend if you have any sensitivities. The lanolin doesn't absorb as well. You can get some made from mushroom. You can get some that is made from sunflower. I say, there's a lot of really good companies out there, but just check. You want your company that you buy from to be privately owned. You want to make sure that they test their ingredients when they get them, before they make their product, and then they test again after they make their product for make sure it hasn't lost power out of the end ingredients, and that they're a clean facility. They have a lot of different certifications, non-GMO, of course, or organic. So there's a lot of good choices out there. There's different types.
A
Just
couple,
depends
would
on
you
how you want to
say,
take it too.
like Orthomolecular and Designs for Health? Are those two good brands?
I think those are good. I think you can find some in the health food store also. Trace Minerals is a really good brand. I think Emerald is a really good brand. They're privately owned companies. Natural Factors is a really good brand. And there are several others, but you just, it depends on how you want to take it. If you need a chewable because you can't swallow very well, then I would get you a chewable, and then I would work on your vagus nerve, because the vagus nerve, it's connected to, it's the longest nerve in your body. It's the cranial nerve 10, and it's connected to every organ except for the adrenal and thyroid. And it's responsible for all gastric motility from chewing to pooping. So it makes all your enzymes for your pancreas and your stomach and your hydrochloric acid. It makes the enzymes for your mouth. And so it's responsible for everything getting through and being digested properly. So if you're having any kind of a digestive issue, you should do some vagal nerve exercises, start taking cold plunges, take a cold shower, sing, hum out loud. There's exercises you can do where you're massaging the back of your neck. So, Dr. Google can help with that. That's about the only thing I
That's awesome.
trust Dr. Google with is maybe some types of exercise or dry brushing instructions, things of that nature.
Yeah, that's awesome. Pastor Ed, did you want to come on?
Yes, for the first time, I didn't know that Eon could help you with gut issues. And so by looking at GPT, I was able to look that this Eon is touching this particular peptide with the long word, right? And and it's just amazing how it balanced out your large intestine. So my question to you, Jacqueline, and I love computers. And when you were showing me those scans, when Nikki first sent them to me, I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this available? Can I get it? Where can I buy one? Where can I scan it? So do only doctors get this machines, or can anybody get them?
I think they try to limit it to practitioners,
Okay.
but I don't know what your credentials are. You could probably get one for LifeWave, to do testing and everything on it. They also give you the meridian points for acupuncture. They give you the meridian points for your ears, and just the meridian line if you want to do acupuncture. They show your teeth, but they're not giving you a lot of information, but you can see your teeth when you get scanned, and it shows you which teeth you've had work done on, which teeth are not all natural in there. It's really amazing. And, and I use that to teach people that, your teeth are connected to your brain and every organ. Your teeth are all each on a different meridian for a different organ. And sometimes you'll get a toothache and you think you've got a toothache, but really you have a kidney problem. So you need to make sure you're going to a biological functional dentist who can, when he looks at your teeth and he cleans your teeth and he says, oh, I don't see anything in your mouth, but that tooth is connected to your kidney. So maybe we should get your kidneys checked. It's, we are in the beginnings of a great revolution in medicine, and we have to help each other, pull each other together, and start teaching people how to look for a functional doctor and why, and how to look for a functional dentist or a biological dentist, how to look for the people who are going to actually make them well. We have to start getting more involved with corporate wellness. So I did corporate wellness for BB&T, which was a bank in the East Coast. It's now SunTrust or Truist. But for about 8 years, I did their wellness program, and everything we did was to make the employee healthier. And we saved the company so much money on sick leave, on retraining of employees, all these things. So when we put when we can put a picture together that helps people learn that getting healthy is actually, what makes the world go around and what makes people happy. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just have this great passion that I want to help people get healthy, and I want to see more and more people get healthy. And I want to implement some programs where people are learning in groups that they can be healthy and they don't have to spend a ton of money. That when I bought this scanner, they said, well, we charge $250 to $500 for a scan. And I'm just looking at them like, do you know how many people have already been to 8 or 10 doctors and they can't figure out what they've done? And they come to me and we're able to figure things out because we look at everything as well as we can. And so I charge $75 for the scan. I prayed about it. My husband and I talked about it. And we said, okay. I said, I'm just going to charge my regular health coaching fee, $75, and we're going to scan everybody that comes in here, and they're going to learn more about their body, and they're going to get healthy. Doctors don't know how to teach people how to get healthy because they've never been taught. Okay. I'm not sure how much I can say on here. My personal belief is they're brainwashed. They're deprived of sleep all through medical school. They're deprived of sleep all through their internship. Then they get out and they have to work 12-hour days. Why? It's not necessary. It's just to keep them in a state where they're going to hear everything that the reps from the big pharma sends them, so that they're not going to step out of line. And now they're all working for corporations. They don't work for themselves, and they're told you have to see 60 patients a day. You have to write this many prescriptions a day. So they have a job. Okay. It's not necessarily what it used to be when we were kids and we had Marcus Welby MDs out there, who were doing their best to learn what's going on, and we're digging for the root cause. So, they don't let women have the hormone replacements that they need. You can go anywhere in any city and there is a men's health club somewhere where they can go and get all their hormone stuff taken care of, but there's nothing for women out there. And so with women, they don't even tell them your ovaries and your adrenals make your hormones. So you take care of your adrenals, you take care of your stress levels so that your body can continue to make your hormones the rest of your life. You won't ever have to worry about your ovaries quitting. But they don't teach them that. So they get under stress. They're not learning any stress management. And so then the ovaries get so inundated with making cortisol to get the stress level down, they can't they don't have enough oomph left in them to make the hormones for the women. So they end up getting sick from it, you know, and women need estrogen for brain health. They need estrogen to keep their bladder working properly. If not, the urethra, the eustachian tubes, not eustachian tubes. What am I thinking? The tubes in the bladder that
Ovarian
keep
tubes.
the
Yeah.
leakage, they will get too thin and they won't be able to hold any of the fluids that they need to hold. So it's all interconnected. And my point is that we have to start teaching people how it's connected, you know, and when they have a problem with something, I don't just say, okay, take this supplement. I say this supplement is going to do this so that will be corrected. Because you have to educate people.
Yes. Yes. You all can see why I love her so much. And she is so amazing. Yes. And we are so thankful for all of the doctors that have stepped out on their own and have, decided to do things in a way to where they can still value and appreciate and take care of their patients.
Yeah.
And
You're
thankfully
here to all
with
the concierge
LifeWave,
doctors.
that's right. That's exactly
Yeah.
right. And with LifeWave, we get to see all kinds of different doctors from all kinds of different modalities and professions that come in and just grace all of us with their knowledge and utilize this patch technology to just elevate and help their patients just go to that next level and have the support their body needs, along with all of their other treatments that they're doing, which are so valuable and vital. So anyway, let me just make sure if there wasn't one more message, but I know we've gone. Oh, yes. So please go to barrettwellness.com. And like I said, she does do virtual coaching as well. And as you can see, I'm so glad she shared her prices with you. So if you're watching this recording in a few years, that may not still be the price, but that's the price right now. And just what a blessing for people to have something that's affordable, where they're not having to feel like they have to fight to figure out where to go to use their insurance, where it's something that they feel like, okay, if I go out to dinner and a movie, I've spent $75. So I can definitely spend $75 on my health to get some information and some knowledge to try
And
to
you know,
head me.
a lot of insurance companies do cover nutritionists and health coaches, but a lot don't. So you just have to ask your insurance company, do you cover it? Because if they cover it, I can give you the NPI number and the licensure number so that they can get reimbursement from their insurance company.
Excellent. I did not know that. That's amazing. Another great piece of information. Go figure. Yes, this is this wonderful lady that you all got to be introduced to tonight. So thank you so much, Jacqueline, for being on here. You are going to help so many people, and we are so blessed to have you a part of our group. And like you said, that you're passionate about people coming together, knowing people, being able to be connected. And that's what we're all about here at LifeWave too. And so we are so excited to have you a part of our team and thankful for all of the people that you're going to bless with all of your knowledge. For those of you that were new on the call tonight, please get back to the person who invited you to this call. Get more information on how this amazing technology works and how it can benefit you. And hopefully you will decide to get started today. So we just pray blessing over each and every one of you tonight. So good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good night. Thank you all. Thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good night. God bless.